jumpsuit for, I'm making this one for a 6 years old. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the bodice. So this is going to be my bodice here. I've cut it out. The width I'm working with here is just the chest measurement divided by 4 plus extra 1.5, half an inch of seam allowance and half an inch of ease. So the chest measurement I'm working with is 24 divided by 4 is going to be 6. I added half an inch of ease because you know it's a little girl, I don't want it too fitted on her. And then I added 1 inch of seam allowance. So that's the width of the fabric here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is the shoulder to the waist. The shoulder to waist I'm working with is 11.5. I added 1 inch to it, so I have 12.5 now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be cutting the front and the back together. So I'm going to start with the shoulder measurement. It's going to have a sleeve, so the shoulder measurement I'm working with is 10 inches divided by 2 is going to be 5. So I'm going to mark that here, come down, insert the armhole I'm working with, which is about 12 inches divided by 2 is 6, connect it this way, and then I'm going to curve it this way. So this is the armhole. I'm going to mark half an inch here for my shoulder slope, mark about 2 inches for the neck width, and then connect it this way. So this is it here. And then for the chest, like I said before, is 24. Round the chest is 24 divided by 4 is going to be 6. Added half an inch to it is 6.5 plus 1 inch of seam allowance is 7.5. So now for the waist, I'm not going to do anything here. I'm going to leave the chest measurement down at the waist because I'm going to be adding a belt to help bring the waist together. So I'm going to leave it just the way it is. So now I'm going to go ahead and mark the neckline. So for my front neckline, I'm going to be using about 3 inches or 2.5 depending on you. But for my back neckline, I'm going to be using 1 inch. So just like that, I'm going to curve that here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this neckline, cut this way and out. So guys, now I've cut out the back neckline, then I also cut the front neckline. So you see the two of them are here now. So all I have to do is just to go ahead, and you can do 2.5 instead of 3 inches. I think 3 inches came down a lot more. So you can do 2.5 for the length of the front neckline. So after that, now I have my back bodice here. Let me just mark it so that I know that this is going to be my back here, and then this one here is going to be the front bodice. So all I have to do now is to split it open. Like I said, this is going to be a button down jumpsuit, so I'm going to just split it open at the center front here. So now this is where I'm going to insert my placket. So using this here, I'm going to also be using this same chest because around the hip for this child is about the same 24, because remember kids most of their measurements are basically the same. So the top part and the bottom part, they are the same. So all I have to do now is I'm going to go ahead and place this way. This is what I'm using for the bottom part. So basically the same hip measurement is what I'm working with here. 24 divided by 4 is going to be 6. I added half an inch of seam allowance here, and then 1 inch of half an inch of ease, and then 1 inch of my seam allowance. So the rest is going to serve as the crotch, which is about 2 inches for the crotch. So that's what I have here for the width. So basically I'm going to place this way, and if you see, once I place it here, it corresponds to this line here on this point here. So I'm going to go ahead now and come down here and mark the crotch that I'm working with. So I'm working with about, guys, don't forget to always add ease. Once it's a little girl or any child that you're making for, try to add about half an inch of ease. So I'm going to come down here and mark the crotch. I'm working with crotch of 7, but since I'm going to be taking away half an inch at this top part here for seam allowance to join this top and bottom, I'm going to work with 7.5. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that here and connect it this way. So guys, at this point now, I'm going to go ahead and cut this out for the crotch. If you want, you can just remove maybe about 1 inch this way and then connect it like this, so that the end of the pants will be a little bit close up. Or if you want, you can just leave it open this way. I think I'll be leaving mine just the way it is, free. So now the next thing I have to do is, so I'm not going to be cutting open the side seam. I'm going to leave it the way it is. So this is going to be the 2 sides of my pant. So what I have to do now is I'm going to take this here and then I'm going to join it this way. So I'm going to join it here. This is going to be the back, and then I'm also going to join the front, but I'm not going to join it all the way because I'm still going to be adding my placket to for the button here. So I might close it up to about somewhere here. So I might just close up the coming from the crotch and then stop somewhere here, so that the rest will be added to the placket of my the top part here. So that's what I'm going to do now. So guys, I'm just going to go ahead and cut my sleeve. I'm working with sleeve length of about 6.5, and then I'm going to just come down here by about 2 inches this way, and then I'm going to insert the width I'm working with here is my armhole width, which was 12 divided by 2 and a 6. And then I'm going to go ahead this way, place my tape from this top part to the end, find the center, which is going to be about 4 inches, and then I'm going to give it a curve below and then a curve above this way. So this is basically my sleeve, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in my sleeve width. So the sleeve width I'm working with here is going to be 7 inches divided by 2 is going to be 3.5, but I'm going to add half an inch of ease and then my 1 inch of seam allowance, so that's going to be 5. I'm going to then connect it down to this point. So this is basically my sleeve. I'm going to cut it out this way, up and then this way. I've joined the top part here. You see, I joined the shoulder to the shoulder first, the front and the back, and then I put in my sleeve. And then if you see at the sleeve here, I just decided to attach a collar to it so it will have some pop of color to it. So this is actually sewed on top of it. I just overlapped it and then sewed it down this way, and then sewed in my side seam. I'm also thinking I'm going to be adding a belt to it to help bring in the waist. So inside of this part here, I might just make a belt like this, right, and put it inside here before I close up my seam, before I sew it down and finish up my seam. So I'll have a belt coming out from the inside this way. So but that's it for that for now. So the way it is now, like I said before, you're going to take your pants. Remember, our pants was looking something like this before. It was looking like this before, right? So I took it here on one side, I closed up the whole crotch to the back. The other crotch here, I still left it open. Like I said, I'm going to sew it halfway through. Guys, if you want to attach a pocket to it, right, you can still, the seam allowance that we left for this pants can still accommodate it can still accommodate your pocket. So if you want to attach a pocket, all you have to do is just to split it open from here all the way down, because this is going to be your side seam. The crotch is always the center seam. The side seam, just remember, you're going to only use half an inch. If you decide to split this open, remember you only have half an inch for that side seam here, because it's 1 inch that we left for each of them. Half an inch for this side and half an inch for this side. Remember, when we were trying to do it, we measured our waist hip divided by 4. We added half an inch of ease, and then we added 1 inch of seam allowance. That 1 inch of seam allowance is because we decided to use half an inch for this center part, and then we have half an inch to use for the side seam. But since I decided not to split mine open, I'm just going to, I'll just leave it the way it is. Instead, I might just give it a dart just to remove that half an inch I left here and give it some shape. But like what I'm saying is, you can split this open and insert a side pocket. I already have a video on how to insert a side pocket, so you can also do that. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this way. So the seam that is closed all the way to the waist is going to be my back seam. The seam that is still left open is going to be my front seam. So all I have to do now is to close up all this here, and then I'm going to join the waist all the way around and meet up. This opening is going to meet up with this opening in front. And then also for the leg of the pants, I'm thinking I'm also going to do the same thing I did for the seam here. So I might just take, what you have to do is take about 2 inches width of this strap of fabric here. You're going to just take it, this is the right side, the front of my pants, right? All I have to do is just take it this way, sew this strap down like this, and then I'm going to flip this strap inside like this after sewing it down, and then tucking the top part of it this way and then sew it down. So that's basically how you do it. To the 2 legs of this pant, and then join the 2, and then we'll come back and do the plackets. So guys, like I said, because I didn't use my side seam to split it open, I just decided to add the dart. But if you use your side seam to take away that other half an inch, then you will not be adding any dart here. This dart is just so that I can be able to use that side seam somewhere. So now we are going to go ahead and put in our front placket. So how you're going to do it, you see how far I came up from the crotch to this point. So I have to and then I also try to double stitch it so the seam doesn't go back down. So what you're going to do is, it depends on the side you want to have the button overlap. So this side here is going to be the one underneath for me. So what I'm going to do is, you're going to cut out 3.5 inches of placket, or you can use 3 inches depending on you, and then you're going to take it this way and sew it down, all the way down, like sew it down. So you see that there's two of them on this side, so you're going to sew it on one side, right? The pant has two sides, one is on this side, one is on the other side. So this side here, you're going to try to sew it this way down and go even like 1 inch into the pant. And then once you sew it down like that, you're going to fold it this way, fold the edge, and then fold it this way. So you're going to sew something like this on this side. I hope you guys can see that I decided to attach a belt to the two sides. So now you see this one went down inside and went all the way like about 1 inch into the pant. So following that one side of this here, I sewed this down this way. So now for the one that is going to overlap it, so this one is going to be where we'll sew down our buttons. But then the one that is going to be for the buttonhole, you're going to cut out something that is 2 inches of width, and then you're going to place it this way, like this, right? And then you're going to sew it down. But for this one, you're only going to flip it once, overturn it inside like this, and then it's going to lie on this way. So let me show you guys how you're going to do it. So guys, you see what I was saying here? So you see this one is going to be inside. You're going to just fold it inside of this one is going to be on top. So this is how it's going to overlap each other. But then coming down to this point, you're going to just cross over this way. I don't have my chalk, but just cross over this way. Once you sew it down and get to this point, let me show you guys how the inside looks. You see, these two things are on different sides of the seam. So but once you get to this end here, just cross over here and sew it down back and forth like 1 2, so that it helps to hold it down so it doesn't rip, right? So this is what it looks like right now. So guys, all I have to do now is just to measure around the neckline so that I can figure out what my collar will be. You can use a bishop collar, you can use just ordinary collar. So I'm going to measure round this neckline here. I have about 14.5 all the way round. So what I have to do is just to remember, you're going to measure from here to even down to the one on the inside, right? So I'm going to just cut out. So guys, remember I measured 14.5 for mine. Sorry, around the neckline of this here was 14.5 for me. So what I have to do is just to make sure that, so 14.5 divided by 2, I'm going to have about 7.25, which is here, right? And then I added about extra 1.5 inches here, so I have about 9 inches here. So all I have to do is I'm going to add half an inch next to this here. This is going to be my seam allowance, and then from there I'm going to then connect it to this edge like this, just like that. So I added half an inch for my seam allowance. This is the half an inch for the seam allowance, but I added about 1 inch here so that I can angle out the edge of the collar. So now I'm going to cut out this excess here. As you can see, I cut 2 of it here. So I have Akara fabric also. This is going to be behind the back, like the back of the collar, and then this blue is going to be on top of the collar. Let me notch it so that I can. So you see, this is all I have to do now. The way it is now, this is going to be my collar. Once I open it up, I'm going to sew up this edge this way, sew up these sides, and then I'm going to use this edge here to attach it. So guys, this is it here. I've flipped it inside out. I ironed it down. So now all I have to do is just, you see what I have here? So I'm just going to take it this way. I wanted to use the blue side for the neck and have it this way, but no, I'm going to flip it the other side and have this one this way. So it's going to look something like this on the neck, just like this. So all I have to do now is just to take it here. I'm going to start from one end here, tucking about half an inch this way, tucking half an inch like this, and then I'm going to start from this side, put this in between this way, and just sew it all the way down to the other side. And then after that, I'm going to insert my button and my buttonhole. So this is it here. I've finished it here. I've added the buttons. So as you can see, I added 3 buttons here, one green, one white, and one blue, because there are the 3 colors in this here. So that's basically, this is the bottom part of the romper. So instead of using the normal crotch measurement, you might want to add about like the crotch here was 7. I added half an inch because of the seam allowance I need at the waist part, but you can use 1 inch seam allowance, so that you can just, anything you do, just try to give them room, because you know this is for a child. You want to give it room so that she can be able to sit down and is not digging into her body. It doesn't matter even if it's a drop crotch, like the crotch drops in front, it doesn't matter for a child. But one thing you don't want is when this is too tight and it starts to dig in when they are playing or when she tries to sit down. So that's basically what this romper here looks like. I'm still going to try to make one for an adult and make a video on that. If you guys would like to see that, please comment and like, subscribe, and yeah, see you guys next time. So bye.